Hello everybody, this is Frogman. Welcome back to Satisfactory. We're over here by where we're making or trying to make some of those nuclear pastas, and then today we're going to complete the last little bit of powdered copper that I need to put into that building. And I figured I would drag you guys along with this one because of the fact that we're going to kind of goof around with what has recently happened. And unfortunately, I don't have the access to the experimental branch, but I kind of want to talk about the experimental branch and what they're getting ready to put out into main game, which is going to be something that I think fits in, like, what is it, a 3 or a 4x4 square of foundations called their blueprinter machine. So, for those of you guys that you don't know, Update 7, the biggest point of all of Update 7 is going to be the fact that we're going to have a tool or a machine that will allow us to copy certain things in a building area. And what's good about that is it's going to allow you to build repeated buildings over and over and over and over and over again easily in game without having to do any silliness. So I want that one. I don't remember how much stuff I have on me. I kind of had this already built, and then I was kind of playing around doing some things. As you guys notice, the general area looks a little bit different. I have a platform for us to play with, and well, we're gonna kind of goof with something. And the idea is I want to goof with something, doing something a little bit different than I normally would do. So we've done this twice already. There's a building kind of right over there, and we did, was it 2 or 3 episodes ago, we did the other almost identical to what this will be. So it's going to be the exact same amount of copper, exact same amount of iron, and exact same amount of machines. And I don't remember where I put all the parts. There they are. I was going to say, where did they go? There they are. Those are what I wanted. Those right there. And I wanted to make sure I had enough stuff for a few of the smelters, so we need those, and I think I have plenty of that in here. Let's grab a little bit more of these, and I got enough of those and enough of those. I know we've looked at everything 2 or 3 times here, but I'm kind of all over the place, and I'm going to enjoy this a little bit. So what's interesting about the machine that we're going to be getting, and hopefully we can get it done. Problem is I'm not going to have time to wait for that update to come out on regular everyday early access. So it's in experimental right now. I'm not going to try to mess with it. I already have I already have 2 mods that'll do the exact same job that's available in that thing. But what's interesting about what's going to happen is we're going to be able to craft blueprints. We're going to be able to craft blueprints in a, well, I'm going to say right now, not very reasonable sized area, but maybe when they get a little bit further on down the line and they realize that a 4x4 or 3x3 area square thing, you know, as the size that they want to do it is not going to be big enough. But yes, generally what's going to happen is you're going to be able to build a customizer. I'm going to have to go actually look at it and make sure. Let's use that swatch. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 blah blah. Generally what you're going to get is you're going to get a machine that's going to allow you to build a structure inside something about that big. Now personally, I would really rather, honestly, do I have one on me? I guess there's a challenge that is centered in the game, centered around being able to build every single thing in the game inside a certain amount of, well, foundations. And I guess now that is around this thing. So I should theoretically be able to do something kind of like that. So that is what, 5? I think it's the 5x5 challenge is what they call it. So the issue, I think, and I'm gonna have to go like again figure it out really quickly. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we're going to stare at this, and I'm going to look at it right here really quickly. Blueprint designers use to create custom factory designs and save them in blueprints. Blueprints can be accessed from the build menu and blueprint tab, and the designer dimensions are 32 meters by 32 meters by 32 meters. Or, and this is a kind of a big or, that big. Or not big enough. But what we're going to do today is we're going to use that as a template. We're going to use that as an idea, because the general idea behind a blueprint machine is that I should be able to copy repeating things over and over and over and over and over again, and make them again and again and again and again without having to fool around with it, right? I should be able to put everything I want into one of those little deals. Now, the interesting thing that we're playing with here today is that in reality, I'm going to need 36. We're going to need 36 of the foundries and 12 of the constructors. But those break up specifically into 3 and 1. So for every 3 smelter, I need 1 constructor. So theoretically, I should be able to build what's called, what they're calling a manifold, or what I'm going to call just a blueprint, in something that big. And then if I had the machine, copy it over and over and over and over again, and make maybe something a little bit better than what we did before. So up until now, what we've been doing is we've been taking foundries, right? And I've been doing like this with them, right? So this is just, and I mean whoop, I don't want that. This is just gonna set inside what they have. That's the reason why I wanted to kind of play with this today. And it's another way of thinking about how to play the game. You don't have to just put, a row of 12 down. You can put a row of, 3 down and get them sort of kind of centered where you want them. And I might move those backwards a little bit. How did I not hurt myself? So we can say we do this, right? And then you're going to look at that going, okay, well, that's also going to need one of these. So if I grab this and I bring it right forward, then I can build a major assembly. I'll probably put it right in front of that one, since that's where the merger is going to live. But we just, and I mean just, where's it at? There's the line. Just have enough space. I mean, I could probably move it a little bit further forward, but I could just have enough space to have all of the belting I need back here, and all of the belting that we would need in the middle, and all of the belting that we need up front. So if we do something like that, and then we use our handy dandy little tool, I need a number 9 here, and I am going to say that the guts is going to come from over there and over there. So we give ourselves just enough room. You make sure you can see your lines. The lines are terrible. Again, your guidelines lie. Make sure you're square before you start extending. And you do something like that, right? Well, the thing is with the blueprinting mod, supposedly, if I do this, and I do what I already have, which is that, get the lines lined up so it's nice and pretty, copy that down. That'll go down, that'll copy the recipe from here into there. And then all I have to do with this one is tell it I want the copper powder. And since this is going to be a 3-into-1 kind of a situation, this is where it gets a little stinky. We're going to have to use I say stinky, it's just fun. We're going to have to decide where we want that to be. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to move that forward just a little bit so you can see your idea as to where you want your belt. So I want my belt about right there, and then I want my constructor so I can see my belt just a little bit. Say like right there, we can still see the belt, so don't have any problems. And then this is the output for what's going to be this little assembly line. So then all we need there is, there's going to be 100 per minute, so these could literally be any belt we want, but that is, I guess if I worked at it a little harder, I could even get those square, huh? Doot. There, all right. There, and we'll use these nice big 4 belts because they're perfect. They're the Mark 4 belts are just perfect for this project. And in there we go, okay? And then this is going to be, well, this is what? We need to make sure that's set correctly. Copper powder, 300 per minute. A 400 belt will work perfectly fine with that. And we'll just do that for right there. And then what I'll do after this is we're going to have to bring in a merger and merge a whole bunch of stuff and make everything kind of function. So that's generally the assembly, right? So that would all fit inside the critter that they're talking about. I guess we could even, while we're at it, we can supposedly do power pulse. So I'll set a power pole. We need some quick wire. Where are you? Right there. Quick wire. All right, cool. If I grab that power pole, we'll set it, say, I like it right there. And then we can do power line, here, 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 and here, and then that'll give us a length so that we can go that next direction. So everything's built inside that deal. Why is this so important? Well, for one, if you start thinking about how you change your building designs, that's an assembly. It's done. So I just copy that and paste it over and over and over until I get where I want to go. And that's just that simple. That's, I guess, the beauty of going to be something like that. And for an assembly, this is going to probably be what changes the way that some of us are going to be playing the game. Because this is an assembly that I can then output a specific amount all the time, no matter what. But this is the only time I'm ever going to build this. I mean, granted, I'm going to build it so that I can make, well, 400 or 500 lines of copper going into that thing. So, you know, 2,000 copper powder per minute. I'm going to build this enough times so that I can do that. Or like if you're going to sit down and build a screw factory, or you want to put a whole bunch of constructors down in one little location. I mean, you can get technically... what, 4 of them? Yeah, you get 4 constructors in a row, and then if you put those down and you do the same thing here. See, like if they would just zoop that, it would, if I could just put this down and zoop that instead of having to use a smart mod or something like that, again, you could definitely make it a little bit easier. So if there's just enough room now that I can put the belts in and I can put the stuff in, you know, it'd be 4 or 5 wide. So in reality, you could build this and have 4 constructors all in a row, all ready to go, so that you could just plunk them down and plunk them down and plunk them down and plunk them down and plunk them down. Or like I said, if they would just do the functionality that they gave us right here and do this with this, then your blueprints are pretty much null and void. There's your line. What's going to be fun about the blueprint machine is the fact that you're going to be able to automatically drop stuff down like this anywhere you want to put it. So let's play with that idea. We can already do that. We have a machine, or I should say, we have a program that lets us do that. I have this gigantic area that I want to build a kind of an interesting structure in. Because of the fact that this is going to be fairly visible in front of that machine and in front of that rail line, this building, I want it to be different than the other ones. And because of those other ones, we're going to use this model instead of the vertical model where I connect 3 of these and then put the constructor on top of it, which means we're going to use a little bit more space. Now, if we look at that number, we are going to have 36 divided by 3. Means we're going to have 12 sets of these. So every single one of these, we're going to put them down 12 times. So I'm going to put 12 of these down, but I'm not going to put them down just, you know, on this floor. I only laid out a whole bunch of area out here just so that I could kind of figure out what it's going to take. What we're likely going to do is that I want to kind of, again, we were going to kind of stack this and make it cool, and I was going to put it in that hole, and then I decided, nah, I don't want to do that. We're not going to do that. And I'm looking at this now wishing I would have actually put it where I wanted the beginning to start. But this is the fun part about what you could do, theoretically, with that mod. So if I go like this, or not mod, that feature, I can place a corner there. Let's get all the way down. Place a corner here. Place the corner here, place the corner here. And if I set bottom to, we'll even do it a little better. I'll set the bottom to right there. So it's just catching this stuff. Just this right here, that foundation that's available, right? Well, what I can do with that is I can then say, well, now that I know where this is, and now that I know I have an exact amount of space that I want to play with, why don't you just do... Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to go underneath to get rid of it because it's covering it. But what I can do is I can move that thing, like, say, over here. So if I go, I don't know, let's just copy and offset it. Which way? Where is my things? Where is the thing? This is where the mod gets a little wonky, and at times I don't like it because it hid my things. No, don't set recipe. Quit. copy paste, and we'll just move it to this direction. We'll go 20, we'll go 0, and we'll go up 1, just so we're making sure we're not screwing up with things. And we go preview. Preview. Hide. Where did you go? There's my line. That's what I was looking for. So we move it over that way, and then we kind of head that direction. So I've got to go... What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get it over here, and then I'll show you what the fun stuff's about it. Okay, so I think I got it about where I wanted it. I guess I could have just torn it all down and rebuilt it and put it right here. But essentially, that's what that's going to do, is it's going to allow you to take something that you already know and spin it around and get it pointed the direction you wanted and get it set it down. Now, the only thing I don't care for about actually additions, this is not Minecraft, this is area actions, is that it doesn't copy belts. Now, belts are not a big pain in the tail until you start talking about using extensions like this. Now, I haven't pressed go because this is not going to be, I think, the final form of how I want to do this. I've got a little bit more space than a 5 or a 4x4 area. I have a nice big room right here, and I kind of want to have a little bit more room between these. But in a sense, that's what's going to happen. So I already lost it because I let it go. But in a sense, that's what you're going to do. Is you're going to be able to take something like this. You're going to go, I want this over here. Plunk. You're going to pull it out of a build menu, like say somewhere from in here, and then you're going to go plunk, 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 and you're going to be done. So I think it's really cool, and I think it's a neat idea. I think my biggest issue as a person that likes to build on a scale like this, it's literally useless to me. Four square is barely enough, and the reason why I'm going to say 4 square is barely enough, give me 1 second. Actually, what am I doing? Nope, stop. I'm not in a window. Quit. I love this. Come on, quit. Click. Yes, thank you. And I will take all that back. Thank you very much. And it tends to cheat a little bit, so I'll give it back those because I know those were not there. And then we can then, well, clear the entire selection. So what my big problem is going to be with this, and I think this is going to be the big problem, is that, well, this thing and that thing. The refineries, I think you can get 3 of them, maybe, in a row. What do we need? We need some copper pipe. Do I have copper pipe? So a refinery, again, it's a 4x4 structure. Granted, you're only going to be able to get a blender or a manufacturer in that. So it's utterly useless for something this big. But like a refinery, you can theoretically get 3 of them in that area. So you could technically build, I don't know, a third of an aluminum process right there. And granted, yes, it's vertical. I forget. I think it's vertical the same height, so it would be this times that tall. But you can just get a refinery in it, which refineries are some of the, well, the worst things in the world to put up because they're so stinking big and narrow. They're, you know, they don't quite fit in a foundation. They don't quite fit a few things. They just kind of sit there. So you can do this, and then you kind of do the, you know, the hold the control, and it kind of does some things. I get where it's going to come in really, really, really very much handy. The thing that it needs to be is it needs to be at least a 5x5. And the reason why it needs to be at least a 5x5 is for these things, because they fit in a 4x5. And, you know, for what it's worth, come on, hold. I know I can't afford, but I should be able to at least, you know, hold it. Right? There. Quit. Whatever. These don't fit in that. Period. They're too long, and they don't go anywhere else. Granted, who's going to do something like that? Well, if you can see where a 5x5 would be interesting, or maybe a 7x7, every one of those wings is then blueprintable. Every one of these wings. So I just build a wing, and I just stack it on top of each other, and then I go to the bottom, and I rotate it 90 degrees, and then I stack it on top of each other. Then I go to the other side and rotate it 90 degrees, and I stack it on top of each other. As it sits, I hand-placed every single one of those particle accelerators, and I used a mod to build all of the walls. So, again, I like the idea. I'm not loving the, what do you say, actuation, or the word of stating of bringing it to life. Anyhow, the thing that we just built right here that I just demolished, we're going to build 3 sets of them over here. We're going to build 3 sets of them over here. We're going to build 3 sets of them over here. We're going to build 3 sets of them over here. And then we're going to tie it all together and send it into one of these belts over here that will then get adjusted, balanced, and put onto that belt right there that will then go feed the monster. So by the time we're done with this mess, I am going to have 10 of those nuclear pastas a minute running by the end of the day. So I will be back once we get some of this stuff laid out and built. It's definitely a heck of a lot quicker for me to build it than it is for you guys to watch me do it. So I will be right back. Messing around later, we have a what looks to be a reasonably decent design for the factory. So I had to do a little bit of goofing around and getting it a little bit more the way I wanted it. The original design with this centered in the middle. Ended up putting the constructors a little too close together in the corners, so I stuck them together kind of like so. And again, it's kind of fooling around with this whole point. You have enough room, 1, 2, 3, 4, to just barely do it if you kind of smush things together. And, you know, for what it's worth, it's all in the difference between, well, do you think that's a reason to try to save on belting, to try to smush things together? Because that's the only real reason why you want to build things really close to each other, unless you're just really short on stuff, is that, well, there's 3 pieces of material right there, there's 2 pieces of material right there. Technically, I could get that to 1. So I could get that to 1 between all of those, and then I could save myself a little bit. So I theoretically could squish this whole design inside of 4x4, even with the way that it works. The point that I think I want to say about the blueprints, and when we get some, well, when we get the machine, when they do the update, if we're still playing this world, we'll go ahead and fiddle around with it, is that regardless of the fact that that blueprint works, all I have to do is build it once with a mod, and then I can copy it all the way around. Just move it over, drop it, move it over, drop it, move it over, rotate it, move over, rotate it, drop. And then once when I get this whole single floor built, right, which is, I don't even know how many blocks. I didn't even look. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'll just say it's 14 by, I don't know, 12 or 10 square, or 14 by 12, whatever. That's the size of what it is. Well, once I have this floor done, then I can just copy the entire floor and move it up. And then set a bottom and a top and move it up again, and move it up again, and move it up again. And if I ever want to build this building again, well, all I have to do is, well, grab it all, the whole thing, like even that. If I wanted to just blueprint the entire building over there, I get it. I understand. I've been lazy. Mod has been cheating me and making me, do what I normally do. Which is have fun in video games and build crazy, silly stuff. I could blueprint that entire building, or I should say I can copy that entire structure over there with area actions and pick it up and move it 100 things in the air and maybe build like a floor or something down there and bring it right back down. Or I could copy the entirety of that thing and put it somewhere else on the map and leave the original right there, as long as I have the parts. So I know that's saying a lot for a mod, and I know that's ridiculous as far as what a mod can do. Area actions, for as janky as it is incredibly overpowered for this game. But something just so simple as, well, we have the zoop functionality, which they were so proud to show us when it came out. And if I can just do this with these, it negates both of them, because as soon as I can do this, again, I can grab this and build custom stuff in place to do whatever I need to do. So I don't know. We'll have to mess with it, and I hope they take a notion as to try to maybe make it a little bit bigger as far as the size goes. At least a 7 by a 7 area would be great, or at least big enough that you could get more than 3 refineries in one structure. So I'm not expecting them to try to make it so we can do the, those kinds of things, or even for that matter, manufacturers. For what it's worth, I mean, a manufacturer, if you get it set up, at least you could have some of the belting in place. Like, you could have all of these in place in that size that they already have, but I don't know, you're still laying down really massive structures like that. So we should be good to go. We should have everything ready to go. I think everything's programmed. I've got some lights not on for whatever reason, and I think they're just mad at me because of, you know, modding and things and stuff. But everything should be wired. Everything should be powered. I had to kind of be a little janky with the iron, but the iron comes up, goes down. Iron goes up and comes across. The copper from these nodes over here actually goes under this floor down here through the floor into all three positions. So everything is buffered. All we should really have to do is do this, and this is a temporary connection. We are going to be building behind this. So there they go. Come on. I know we need a lot. Here, you can have some of this. Get it out of my inventory. There we go. There's some headed off. This should start becoming a 600 belt of that stuff headed over to our main wonderful toy. We're going to go ahead and probably build walls and everything around here, and I am going to wait for that autosave. We're going to go over there and turn the last wall on and start actually making 10 of these a minute. Okay, I think we can go take a look at this. It looks like the belt's getting pretty decently set up. We do have a kind of a neat little structure going on, and I did kind of clean up the horrible belt mess that we made over here. There's still going to be a couple of things we're going to have to do, but I'm sitting there trying to figure out where the black hole is this stuff's going into right now. For whatever reason, it's been running for a couple of minutes, and I don't know why we haven't managed to back stuff it yet. But then again, it's 200 or 500 per. I don't think this thing is on, aside from this one. Maybe I just didn't get here in time. Where is it all going? Okay, so that should be right there. And this is the one going over here that we already know about that's going to this one side. Okay, so we need to go up here and turn on one of the ones on top. So let me go up top and turn it on. And then we go up to the other side, turn the other ones on. So, there's a long way up here. I love it. All right, so I need to turn this one on because it should now be fully functional. So make sure you're set, you're not, and we need a power connectory thingy. I think it's this one. You go to work. All right, so as soon as that one loads up, cool. All right, so we can go over here and make sure these are all hooked up, ready to go. I think I hooked them all up, right? No, I didn't. I got to go all the way back down and do all of these. Alrighty, so everybody on this side should be ready to go. It is now time to go turn on the last of the 4 sides in the base for building, well, a bunch of nuclear pastas. How bad are we right now? We're hanging out, and I went ahead in between episodes and got all of the geothermal generators put up, so that got us like almost another 5 or 4,000 average of power. So it is now time to turn on the last bank, and well, hopefully we don't max the grid out and blow everything up. Oh yeah, wait a minute, wrong side. Switch is over here. Come on, dummy, you forgot where your switch was. It's over here. Turn that switch on. Bang. And then we go, ow. Please don't blow up. Please don't blow up. Please don't blow up. Now, in all theoretical theoriness of this one side here, this side, oh no, actually not this side, this side, that side over there should be about 60 over what it needs as far as copper coming in, which means There's 60 extra copper going across all 3 of these, and this is the end-all be-all back line. So the one little section over there that we had to build that was way, way off in the corner, and I brought it back over here on the little 270 belts, it's pulling 260 in, which theoretically means should eventually, well, at least maybe overflow to all 4 sides if need be. So there we go here. Those are going to stack to, like, I figure what it was, 500? Oh, man. It's making angry noises. We might maybe make it. We might maybe just make it. Now, if it goes into overload mode, we'll start to see the battery count down and then count back up as this goes, or as the power storage goes. But that might have just got us right where we needed to be in order to stay under where we're at. If I still have, I'm going to say if we still have at 5,000 or 6,000 megawatts, we're going to go turn some more stuff on in a few places, on in a few places, and make some more power and more parts and more toys. Get in your tube, my friend. Let's go upstairs and watch those go by. Come on up. I know it's not much. I really know it doesn't look like it's much. Every one of those is a 500,000 points apiece. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured I was gonna see. We could do better. We could probably make a few more if we felt like it. I think for right now what I'm going to do is we're going to run this as much as we can. There is currently an awesome sink over there at the pressure conversion cube factory that is eating all the excess pressure conversion cubes, of which we should have about, I don't know, I forget, 12 extra. All of these are going to continue to go to an awesome sink for now until we know we're exactly wired up, wound up, and working. We will start sending them back to the base in the next episode. And, well, we may go do a little bit of playing around. But until then, I think I will see you all in this crazy, noisy, loud, spinny machine later. Thanks for watching. Bye. And jump down. Why not?